Of 4 kids. She said I got a couple grandbabies. Can you believe that?
No.
And she has been through a lot. And I remember, this weekend really reminded me when we were this morning when it was so emotional. We were all crying in here by like 10 o'clock. And it's like, all of us are going through these things, and nobody really knows it. And today, after everybody was sharing their things and their stuff, there was like this lovingness that was happening in the room. Like people were coming up to me and to other people and sharing, things that had happened. And it brings me back to what Sonia, she's always so happy, and she's there to help everybody else. And I didn't really know her story until we were doing a recording of a video, how she was talking about that she was a social worker and was helping all these people. And then before she knew it, she had lost her job, and she was now standing in the same lines with people that she used to do that for social work. And it really touched me. Sonia47, come on up here and tell everybody your real estate stories.
Okay, well, I'm definitely not the same person I was in 2008. As I look back, I was looking for something back in 2007, actually. And as many of you know, I believe in God, and I believe that He answers. Not always in our timing, but in His timing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And one of the greatest tests of faith is to say thank you even when He hasn't answered or has said no. And so I've always had faith in Him. And I asked God to help me find a place, somewhere where I can be able to provide for my children. And someone invited me to an intensive, and she never returned the second day, and I did. And I listened, and I said, Lord, if this is where you want me to be, I need you to make a way for me, because I didn't have the money. But I wanted God to answer that for me. And I started with a product that was called the Home Study Course, and I started my first short sale with that. And I prayed so much that, because I was scared. I'd never done real estate. I've never sold anything in my life. My passion is social work. My passion is helping the less fortunate. And I saw myself in that same situation, because there was a personal transition in my life, and I didn't want to uproot my kids. I moved to one of the best suburbs in Chicago, and I wanted to stay there. And I prayed to God to make this work, and thank God the short sale had acquired me $186,000 in equity, where I started to do some hard money lending and wholesaling deals. And it allowed me, as a sole parent, to keep my children in the same community that I had decided that I would keep them in. I thank God every day for all my challenges. It has not been easy. I've had a lot of challenges. But I think, first of all, Mr. Bob Snyder, for your vision, the vision that you had before you even met me. When that deal came through and I was asked to speak, in the same town that I was allowed to stay in, I knew that I followed God's calling, and that it was God that brought this opportunity to me. So when I walked into that place and I saw that there was 1,400 people, and I was going to talk about my deal, I almost literally passed out. I ran into someone who had taken me to court because my check had bounced a year earlier. And when she heard my story, she had owned a not-for-profit for single parents. And I had written a check to her because I had bought a necklace, and that check had bounced during my transition in my life. And so when I walked in there, and I said, I know you, and she said, yeah, I know you too. And she had taken me to court, but then she realized that it was a big mistake, and she tried to drop the charges, but the DuPage County wanted to take me to, go to trial, and then they dropped the charges. But the point was that I looked back as I walked in that place in Elmhurst, and I saw where my life was and where I was headed. And so, I just want to thank our leaders. Bob, my first rehab, I called Bob, and he's a very busy guy. And I said, I need help, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But he came down and met me, and it was a cold, old house. And he walked through every room and gave me every advice that a contractor could give you. He gave me all these ideas. I videotaped them, and it was, I just want to thank you for that, because I know you're very busy, and you met me there to help me out. Scott, I can never say anything negative in front of Scott, so I stop, because he always has an awesome comeback to get me back in check, and I appreciate that. I sometimes wonder, I've asked him, how do you stay so positive? It just amazes me that I could have one of those days, because no matter how successful we are, we have those days when we're in a funk. I don't know if that's a bad word, but if it is, I'm sorry.
Funk is a good word.
Okay. And I'll walk in here and I'll see Scott and I'll say something to him, and he'll say, that's because, he'll just come up with something, and he'll just slap me with his words. And I'm like, I got that. And Nancy, God, no matter what I'm going through, there's been times where I just needed to vent. And, she's got so much going on now, especially with her kids. And she just listens to me. And just hears me out, and then just gives me words of encouragement. She's always there no matter what. No matter what time of day, she's there for me. She'll pick up the phone, I'll text her, she'll find time for me, and that's been very important to me, and I feel truly blessed for that. And then I just want to take my downline, George, for pushing me. There have been times where I didn't want to go to Milwaukee, or just stuff has gotten in my way, and he's just been amazing. He's really upped his marketing, his self-development. He's just an amazing person. I'm blessed to be able to mentor him, but he's also mentored me in many ways. So thank you, everybody.